Hello, welcome to Professor Skye's Record Review, the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the gym. Now, you may not be able to tell, I have not just been to the gym. Matter of fact, I woke up like an hour ago. It's like 10:30. I'm not doing well. I'm sick. I've been sick for like a week, so I'm going to the doctor soon. And I haven't been going to the gym, so I haven't uploaded a video. And that really bugs me. Like when I have creators who I count on to like make new videos, I want them to make videos. So here's what I did for you. My sweaters, whatever it is I call people who watch my channel. I review just an EP. I listened to an EP. I listened to it today. I was sick. I had blown my nose and eaten cough drops and all that stuff. And I'm just going to give you a review. So it's going to be a little bit, not quite the same energy, you know, like. First of all, my hair looks terrible. Usually my hair looks pretty good on this channel, but look at what's going on. This part's going up, that part's going down. That's how you know I'm not doing well. I'm a little bit vain, as I like to say from time to time. But I'm going to be reviewing an album by Arlo Parks. Arlo Parks. And the name of the album is called Sophie. And I want to start off by sort of first off, so I listened to it, right? And I listened to it last week. I haven't gotten any new releases this week. Driving me crazy. And I was listening to it and I was thinking about, I like looked her up a little bit, you know, while I was listening because I wasn't at the gym. I had extra time to just sort of think about what I was listening to. And I looked up her bio on Spotify. And this is a great album and she is a great musician who's making great music and I think there's a lot of hope for her. But the way that the biography was written, it almost feels like it's like a music writer's dream, like a cultural, I don't know. It's like a liberal leftist dream. This description I'm going to give you of her. So I want to sort of break it down, like give you the bio and then get into the music. But first of all, you know, I'm actually going to get into it a little bit more. On the cover, you see, it's a picture of her and she's in this kind of like rundown diner. Okay, and she's wearing a sweatshirt that says JeanMichel Basquiat, like the artist, you know, the great artist, abstract pop artist of the late 70s, early 80s from New York. And what was interesting about Basquiat was because he was African American, descendant of immigrants from Haiti, because he was African American, there was a certain desire in the art world for him to succeed. There was racism against him because he was different and othered. But then there was also this desire because he was like this street kid who did graffiti. And like everybody would put his biography out first. And he'd be such a hopeful sign of like art not just being white guys all the time, you know? And so I think to a degree, his art was put forward and was hyped in a way that he didn't earn the hype. But his art is so good that he earned the hype afterward. So it's like Basquiat is any bit as good as Rauschenberg or hell, Pollock, right? I mean, he's an amazing artist. And if you look at a retrospective of Basquiat's work, he's an amazing artist who is worth all of that hype that he didn't earn. His biography and the well-meaning kind of exoticist racists around him who pushed him up ultimately gave him the energy and the juice to do what he was able to do. I've lost the ability to speak with my sickness. It's some kind of virus in my throat, so it's been hard to talk, but I'm going to power through here. When you listen to the biography of Arlo Parks, you get a lot of that in here. Arlo Parks is a 19-year-old poet-singer from London. In her words, she spent most of school feeling like that black kid who couldn't dance for shit, listening to too much emo and crushing on some girl in her Spanish class. Her songs are confessional and tender, mainly inspired by Portishead and Earl Sweatshirt. So that is just a perfect storm of things that make well-meaning music critics and people just, oh, a 19-year-old already, wow, she's really young. And actually, it's part of the reason I wanted to review it is I was going over my year-end list of the top 10 records of the year, and the only woman that I think that's I'd say my top 5. There's not a lot of women in my top 10 lists. It's really just Patricia Taxon and Billie Eilish, as far as I can tell. So I was sort of thinking about that, like, you know, what is my what is my do I have a prejudice? I probably do. But I think the main thing is I'm really interested in what's happening with young women, like women under the age of 25. I think there's something happening there's a cultural moment here where they're being given space and promotion and the tools to like make personal art that is not just overproduced by other people. So 19-year-old poet and singer, and if you read, like interviews with her, she's talking about all the poets that she likes, and that gets all the sort of well-meaning intellectuals all excited, like me. And the idea that she feels like the black kid who couldn't dance means that she's both, interesting for not just being another white girl singing about her feelings, but at the same time, like that kind of otherness within otherness, which is quite good. And then mentioning having a crush on a girl, which kind of puts that sort of added like sexuality question, like, well, some of her songs are about boys, some of her songs are about girls, very much of the moment, but also just making her this perfect example of the kind of star that well-meaning, left-leaning intellectuals want to promote. Inspired by Portishead and Earl Sweatshirt. I mean, I thought that was a joke. I mean, if you listen to our music, definitely you hear those influences. But that sounds like such an effort at making her seem like this perfect unicorn of a musician who is all things to all people. Which is why I'm really happy that it's just very good music. It's very good. Whatever hype it is that she might get, you've probably never heard of her. I'd never heard of her. So this hype hasn't really quite made it to America yet. Whatever hype that she hasn't earned, that she might get from just the fact that she's different than most other young pop stars out there, is totally earned. The first track on the EP, it's like 16 minutes. It's worth a listen. Just give it a listen. Just listen to this. It's good. Oh my God! Look at that, right? That's going up. Well, I look like Flock of Seagulls. This is called my Flock of Seagulls video. Anyway, the first track on the album, Second Guessing, it's just great. It starts off and the production goes from kind of sparse to kind of lush throughout the track. Like it starts off with like a single voice, and then by the middle there's this great chorus with many voices behind her. Lots of great lyrics. She's a very good lyricist. She has a great combination of sort of observational lyrics about the way people are and then personal lyrics about the way she feels. She's very... I don't associate 19-year-olds who call themselves poets with restraint, okay? I usually associate people with that kind of self-seriousness with trying too hard and making things that are just painful. She doesn't do that. And there's a whole bit where it says, do you remember when you broke? And I thought she was going to say my heart, and then she says your arm. It's kind of interesting. This whole chorus to the song is all about not wanting to disappoint your fathers, which, as a father and a son, I find an interesting theme. The sort of confessional element is when... A perfect example of Arlo Parks' confessional lyrics, I'm trying hard to be that girl that you kind of liked back in March. I think I'm a little bit crooked here. I got the video. My tripod is a Lego advent calendar. True story. So let's play you a little bit of this track, which I just think is just spectacular. Second Guessing by Arlo Parks. Even just that title, Second Guessing, it's interesting. It draws you in, like, what does that mean? What is that in reference to? Okay, here we go. It's called Cinema Verde there, where I blew my nose. So there's an example of her music, and most of it is that good. That's the best song, definitely the best song on this EP, but the rest of it is strong. The next track, George, is a little bit more slinky. The lyrics appear to be about kind of a sketchy dude, which I think is a good theme, especially if you're a 19-year-old girl, probably writing about sketchy dudes. Probably a lot of your life is about sketchy dudes. The track Sophie is interesting because this is the most... now I'm just going to turn this because I don't like the way that... There we go. Still see my Christmas tree in the back. The track Sophie is her most sort of teen angst song. Like I sort of want to play. I'm trying to think about, you know, my daughter is a big fan of My Chemical Romance and Billie Eilish, and she's really into emo music. And I'm sort of hoping that she finds things that are a little bit less poppy and a little bit more from the heart. So I'm really hoping that she likes this music. And I think Sophie might be the track I play because it's a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more earnest. Maybe cringy to an old person like myself, you know, it talks about selling your Ritalin and feeling like your art sucks. She literally says, I feel like my art sucks. Oh, she's very British accent, by the way, which take your vitamins, which is kind of funny. But just this sort of feeling about people not liking you and not being liked. But why not? I mean, that's how she feels. The whole album isn't that. I think you do need it. I think it's honest. And she's a good enough poet. Screw that. Who cares if she's a poet? She's a good enough songwriter. She's much higher than a poet. She's a songwriter. She's a good enough songwriter to have the lyrics work. There's also a nice little guitar solo at the end. I don't know what she does. If there are any Arlo Parks super fans out there, what does she actually play? Does she just sing? She has very good producers. The whole thing, again, the production, there's like 2 or 3 people who are listed in the credits alongside her. But it's very well produced, very tasteful. And again, that might just be sort of one of the key words to this whole thing. It's a very tasteful set of songs, lyrically, production-wise. And then it ends with the track Paperbacks, which has kind of a nice old school drum loop. You know, the sort of Portishead thing. It's not really Portishead. It doesn't have that underwater feeling that you love with Portishead. I never actually emotionally really connected to Portishead, like lyrically. I connect to them emotionally in terms of the atmosphere they create, but not in terms of the personality of the people who are in the band. Like, I actually, whenever I think of Portishead, I just think of the Eurythmics. Do you do that? Like, I picture those 2 people making the music from Portishead. I don't think I've ever seen them in concert. Doesn't matter. The point is that using kind of like a nice drum beat, and they affect the drum beat in the sample, like they take this loop and they put it under sort of like a phaser effect during the verse, and they do nice things with it. And it has echoes of Portishead. And I don't like it as much as Portishead, but it also does more than Portishead in the way that you really actually connect to this life that she's describing of sort of, I don't know, getting high with her friends or watching her friends get high. I can't tell which one she does more. So, oh yeah, that has a great lyric. I think I hate you, but I don't know why. Again, just wonderful lyrics about love and confusion in youth that are perfectly simple. I think I hate you, but I don't know why is a perfect lyric. It really is. All those words are not difficult, right? She's not saying like, you know, in the penumbra of my lassitude, I search for your call, right? It's none of that poet mess. It's just, I think I hate you, but I don't know why. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so there you go. It's 10:44. My doctor's appointment is at 11:15. I'm gonna show up like this. My doctor thinks I look like a schlub. It's because I'm sick. Okay, well, until the next time, where I'll hopefully be reviewing an album that came out this week, not the previous week. There's the camera. So I was actually just upstairs. I was uploading the video, and I was telling my wife about my whole Basquiat theory about like getting hype that he didn't earn, and then through his art, he ended up retroactively earning all that hype. And I realized the other example of that is Led Zeppelin. So it's not all about race, right? Like Led Zeppelin started off as this super group, and everyone was all excited, and they even named their music company Super Hype Records. And when they came out, everyone thought they were going to be the next great rock band from England. And like, they didn't deserve that hype, but then they earned it later. Okay. I didn't want to make it all about race, because it's not all about race. The way that like music critics and cultural critics hype up people for various reasons is really, it's hard to classify, and it's got many different heads. Okay, all right, now I'm really going to go to the doctor.